Hey there, it's John Bice in beautiful Sarasota, Florida, and wanted to catch up on a video. Now, I've done videos very similar to this in the past, but I've been watching other YouTube videos about Florida and some of the nonsense that they're putting out there. There's people from other states, maybe real estate agents, maybe from the Carolinas, that are just putting out the worst possible case scenarios about the state of Florida. And I wanted to clarify some of it. Let me tell you right off the top, I'm not an insurance agent. I'm not an attorney. I'm none of those things. I'm just a guy that's been selling real estate here for 18 years. My parents sold real estate. My sister still sells real estate over in St. Petersburg. So I wanted to clarify some of the things that I've heard from some of these videos. I'm a Floridian. I grew up here and I know these things. I know things are changing, absolutely. Our population is up by about 380,000 people because why? During COVID, people were running here because the state was open and they wanted to be here. That's why. And 10,000 baby boomers a day retire. And guess where they want to retire? In the state of Florida. And they've been doing that for 100 years. I think the original retiree is still alive here somewhere in Sarasota and still has a driver's license. Just kidding. But anyway, so some of these I want to cover with you and get right out there. So our property taxes, how do they work? So we pay our taxes in arrears. So I just got what they call a trim notice in this month, November, for this year's taxes. So that means in December they become due and you save like 1%. The sooner you pay them, the more you save. I think it's 4% actually if you pay in December, then 3% in January, 2% in February, something along those lines. But this is my primary residence. I'm homesteaded, which means if you homestead a home in the state of Florida, you can only have one in the entire country, one homesteaded property. I'm homesteaded. So that means my property taxes cannot go up more than 3% a year. Now they can go down 5%. They usually don't, but they can go up 1%, but they can't go up more than 3% in any given year because it's a homesteaded property. Now, why some of this changes for people? A, new construction. They do an assessment on property in January of every year. Okay, so if a home wasn't completed in, let's say, 2022, but then was completed in February of 2023, that home won't be assessed until January of 2024, if that makes sense, okay? So they only do it once a year. They do it in January. So what I always tell people who are buying new construction, your taxes, it's going to reflect an empty lot because they don't assess the property until they have the CO. It's cleared to close. It can be sold. They assess it the following January. So we just had the example of some of our buyers who purchased a home and the homesteading went away. So the homesteaded tax on that particular property was like $3,950 for the year. The homesteading went away because they did not homestead, the new buyers did not homestead the property. Their taxes went to $8,300 for the year. Okay, now once they homestead that property, which eventually for next year they will, things will change and they'll be reassessed. So that's what's happening in a lot of these because, again, new construction, you might see the property taxes of $700 for the year because it's on the vacant lot. Then when that home is built, it's assessed again. And depending if there's a CDD fee, like in Lakewood Ranch, those taxes might come in at $7,800 for the year. It just, again, it depends on the size and the value of the house and all of those things. But when you homestead, they do an assessed value, and then they subtract $50,000 off the assessed value, and then that's what you're actually taxed on. Now I'm going to give examples of my home. We're in an area, my home was built in 1983. We're in a non-CDD area. My property taxes are $4,600 for the year. I don't know if that's huge. I don't know if that's not huge, but $4,600 for the year. So any of these, they're pluses and minuses of any state. Why did 380,000 people come here last year from primarily the Northeast? Taxes. Again, we were wide open, things were great, and they ran here, and they're still coming here. So, you know, you have to weigh each side of this thing. So, as I said, some of these people are giving you the worst of the worst case scenarios. I got to move quickly, or this video is going to be an hour long. Okay, insurance. New home insurance, new construction, new homes. Again, not an insurance agent. I'm not giving you an exact quote, but you can count on probably $1,800 to $2,000 a year on your homeowner's insurance. Those homes are built concrete block. The roofs are strapped down to the concrete block. They're required to either have storm shutters or impact windows, and that's about what your insurance on your home is going to be. Now, again, my home, built in 1983, we put a new roof on it, we put impact windows in, we put a garage door on. My property taxes have gone up to $2,900 for the year. They were $2,400 last year. We've seen an increase because of storm activity. And the other thing that they're not telling you about insurance is the whole entire state was being scammed by these people going around primarily preying on the elderly, saying, hey, I'm doing the guy across the street's roof. You want me to give your roof an inspection? So they're like, yeah, go ahead. Do you think they ever came off that roof and told them that they did not need a new roof? Ever? I had somebody do it. I just wanted to see. I'd already had 2 roofers here. I knew what my roof was. The guy came off the roof. He had drawn with chalk all over the place. Oh yeah, you got to replace this, blah, blah, blah. So the scammers were working to get free roofs and turning in bills for about twice the cost of what the roof was costing to the insurance companies. And the insurance companies, okay, do we pay attorneys? Do we go fight it? What do we do? Okay, it's only this much, pay it. All right, but a lot of scams out there. Okay, so let's be truthful about what's going on with insurance. Did we have some storms? Yes. Was this area, Lakewood Ranch for an example? I didn't see any damage out there, maybe a couple of trees blown over. I don't even think during the last storm they lost power out there. They sat there with the air conditioner on. I sat out here on my lanai making videos to show baby boomers coming from the Northeast what it's like to sit through a hurricane. I grew up in a wood frame house in St. Petersburg as a kid. Wood frame. Nothing ever happened to our house. Now, we had a next door neighbor's tree hit the side of our house one time that got blown over. A pine tree, those skinny old pine trees got blown over and hit the side of our house, but that was it. That's all I ever remember happening. So, flood insurance, yeah, they're trying to make the whole state of Florida a flood area, flood zone. So, like, I'm not in a flood zone. This is a lake behind me. So I'll probably end up paying approximately $300 a year for flood insurance because I'm not in a flood zone. Now, if you choose to buy something on the water, you're taking the risk, okay? Especially if it's an older home built in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and it's not built up to the newest hurricane standards. If you're in a flood zone, they're required to be elevated above what they call the 100-year floodplain. So if you choose to be on the water, you're taking that risk of being flooded during a storm. The last storm that came by, somebody asked me about it. It hit during a very rare occurrence, a full moon, which there's extreme high tides and extreme low tides during a full moon. So it came ashore during the extreme high tide, and then the winds blew it, and especially in Tampa, blew it over Bayshore Boulevard onto the sidewalks and all that. And of course the news sensationalizes that and makes it like the whole city of Tampa was washed away. Okay, so that's what happened there. Auto insurance, again, I'll give you an example of mine. I pay $136 a month. I drive an SUV, Mazda SUV, and I have maximum coverage. Why? Because I drive a lot and I carry people in my car, selling real estate, obviously. So I have absolute max coverage. So could you lower that down significantly? I'm with State Farm, I'm sure you could. But for me, that's what I need to have, carrying people around in my car. Auto tax, when you buy a car here or you bring a car into the state, there's a 6% tax. Yes, that is a true statement. So you go out and purchase a new or a resale car, 6% sales tax on that. So that is true. Pollen and red tide, do we have that? Yes. In Georgia, do you have pollen with oak trees? Yes, you do. So we have oak trees, we have pollen, it happens, it's a occurring thing. I don't have big allergies, I don't have that type of issue. If you are a person who has a ton of allergies when things go into bloom here, that may be an issue for you. So these are all things we want you to know so you do not have any regrets about coming to Florida. Red tide, it happens. It happens. Now, I don't know what causes red tide. I grew up, my parents sold the wood frame house we had, moved out to Reddington Beach, which is part of the St. Petersburg area. We experienced red tide. Fish die, they wash up on the beach. Again, it's usually over in a couple of weeks. It's not a pleasant time. It stinks. It can burn your eyes and your nose. And I don't know why. From what I understand, it's when we don't really have a cool spell during winter, the water stays warm and it causes the fish to die. Don't know if that's accurate. I'm not a marine biologist, so don't take my word for it. Red tide does happen. Doesn't happen every year, doesn't happen every other year, but it does happen. We do have that. People from all over the country are here. So you'll find extremely nice people here, no matter what you're doing, shopping, restaurants, whatever. And this is a west coast of Florida versus the east coast of Florida type of thing. The east coast, extremely fast paced, tends to get the New York City type of crowd going over to that side. I'm not a beach fan for the East Coast. The sand is hot, the water's extremely cold, the shark activity is crazy. I'm a Gulf of Mexico guy. This is where I grew up. The water's warm, the sand is like sugar sand white, they call it. It's amazing. Are there sharks in the water? Absolutely. I skin dive, I snorkel. I've never seen a live shark, never one time. So that's probably rare, but I've never seen one. So got to be aware of those two things. Bugs, wildlife, alligators. Okay, bugs. Yes, we have bugs. We have mosquitoes. Florida was a swamp at one time. Okay, there's still swampy areas. The Everglades are still down there. So yes, we have bugs, primarily roaches and mosquitoes. Mosquitoes would be the big pain because you can't really do anything about mosquitoes, especially when you have a lake behind your house like this. But we have pest control once a quarter. We see, I hate bugs. I'm not a bugophobe. I just hate bugs. So we have our pest control guys come once a quarter, spray the exterior of our home, and we see nothing. Is there an alligator in that lake? Could be. We don't swim in these lakes. We don't go stick our feet in these lakes. We don't fish in these lakes. These lakes are for days like this where it's raining and the water from the street, they're retention ponds and it runs in there. And why did they dig all these lakes everywhere, like in Lakewood Ranch? Because they need that area for the water to go into the retention ponds. Okay, so alligators migrate, they get in these lakes. If they get to be a nuisance because people feed them, then they come and take them away. They remove them. We had one taken out of here last year, but maybe this time last year. He was good size. He was probably 8 feet long. He was a good sized gator, but yeah, I've got 2 dogs, and I decided it was time for him to be relocated. So he was. But in areas like out east, you'll see bald eagles, occasionally see wild pigs, deer. There's such thing as a Florida panther. Yes, actually such thing. I've seen one my whole entire life. I was on a golf course and he sprinted across the driving range. He or she. What else? Tons of deer though. Yep. And the people that are bringing all these snakes into the country, and then they get tired of them, they release them, especially down in the Everglades. There's iguanas down there, there's boa constrictors down there. They really need a hunting season for those things so we can start getting rid of them. But yes, they're down there. What else? Bugs, wildlife, gators, covered that. Traffic. What causes our traffic? Well, 380,000 people moved here last year. Another thing that causes our traffic, snowbirds. You know what a snowbird is? They come down here and enjoy our amazing time of year. And for some reason, when they cross over the Florida state line, they completely forget how to drive, or this is the way they drive where they come from. And it is horrendous. For some reason, they forget there's such a thing called a U-turn. So they'll be in the left lane and decide they want to turn right across 3 lanes of traffic. Most of them just stop in the middle of the road and turn their blinker on and then wait till all the traffic stops to let them go across. That's normally what happens. So yeah, snowbirds cause a lot of traffic. Remember, old people's parents typically live here and are snowbirds. So you'll see a lot of the time where you're driving and the person in front of you, you can't see a person because they're so far down in their seat. It didn't look like anybody's driving the car. And then when you pass them, all you see is white knuckles. So old people's parents drive here. You got to be very aware. Snowbirds, they got nowhere to go and all day to get there, and they don't care how slow they're going in front of you. They don't care because they got nothing to do. So they're just going to take their sweet time. So it drives us a little crazy. So during snowbird season, traffic is a little nuts here. Weather, 6 months a year, we have amazing. So we're just coming into that time of year. Usually starts end of October, 1st of November. Our average temperature will be about 75 during the day, high 50s, low 60s at night. We have 4 months of absolutely hot. June, July, August, and into September. It's hot. I'm a Floridian. It doesn't bother me. I love it. Humid, yes, very humid. Plays havoc with my hair. It's amazing what it does to my hair. And hurricanes, yes, they happen. They happen. This area is very blessed. We haven't had a direct hit on Sarasota since 1960. Now they've gone down to Venice and Fort Myers and Naples, yes. They've gone up to the Panhandle. This year we had one go to what I call the armpit of Florida, where Florida kind of curves around. They hit Pensacola, which we call LA, also known as Lower Alabama. Hits that area a lot, but it also hits Houston. I've got clients coming to town to look for a place. They're in Galveston in a condo there because of the insurance there for hurricanes. Their HOA fee is $3,100 a month. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. So yes, we have hot, we have hurricanes, we have beautiful 6 months of the year. So during summertime, my in-laws live in Jersey. The temperature's not a lot different from where they are in New Jersey. Now, are we more humid? Yes, absolutely, positively. But if it's 89 there, it'll be like 92 here at 93. So they have summer too, believe it or not. So heat, if you're not a fan of heat, you may want to be a snowbird and not be a Floridian, because it's hot. But again, and I've said it in my other videos, we go from our air-conditioned home to our air-conditioned car to our air-conditioned place that we're going, our office, restaurant, shopping, back to our air-conditioned car, back to our air-conditioned house. That's how we do it. So it's not too bad. Home maintenance, yes, there's some expense in it. This house, 1983, I told you, I put a new roof on. Yes, I did. I needed to for insurance because the roof was getting ready to turn 20 years old, shingle roof. So we have three types of roofs here. We have shingle roofs, we have tile roofs, which tend to last a lot longer, and then metal roofs. Now, if you go to a metal roof, it's the most expensive, but they'll be on your house for probably 40 to 50 years. I'm not a roofer, I'm not in construction, don't quote me on that, but they say once you put a metal roof on, you'll never replace it again. Because it's not typically what's on the cover, it's what's underneath. So the shingle wears out, gets old because it's in the baking sun, gets old, and then allows water to seep through and blah, blah, blah. That's where you get problems. Storm comes by, it blows some shingles off your roof, you have to get those replaced. The tile roofs, very, very, very secure. Again, typically last longer, not as expensive as a metal roof, but very expensive. Our roof was $21,000. Now we're in a 3-bedroom, 3-bath with a den, 2,450 square feet, I believe it is. And yeah, about $21,000. Shingle roof used to be about 15, but I don't think there's anything that's not getting more expensive these days, including shingle roofs. So you can count on that. Air conditioning systems, typically 12 to 15 years max. Then they're getting towards the end of their economic life. So if you're buying a resale home, you got to be very aware of that in the disclosure that the seller will give you. How old's the roof? How old's the air conditioner? Those are the first two questions people ask. Windows, like I said, we did the windows in this house. It was right around $7,000 to get that done. We had to resurface the pool, 1983 pool, so we had to resurface that. Another, I think that was 11, somewhere around there. Now we've been in this house for 5 years, so it's not like all this happened at one time, but we got that done as well. People talk about water softeners. We just put one in about 6 months ago. It's the first time I've ever had one. Floridian, never had one before. My wife wanted it, so you know how that works. So we got the water softener and the reverse osmosis system. I do have to say I love that water. It's very, very, very good. Before that, all we had was the filter in the refrigerator. But now we've got the filtration system outside and then the reverse osmosis for the water that we drink and cook with and make coffee with. So that's that. So that's primarily it, guys. You know, as I said, I'm doing this one. I've done cost of living here before, but I'm seeing these videos where, again, people will go to an area where a storm had just gone by. It's 1970s homes. There's tarps on the roof. They live 2 blocks from the beach and they had a lot of damage. So, again, thank the Lord. We've been here, had one hurricane come right by us, Ian, and then a couple that have kind of skipped out and around us, and no damage. Now your yard will be full of leaves and sticks and things like that. If you've got oak trees, like everything that's ever been in that oak tree will be in your yard, everything. So it's ridiculous. I don't miss oak trees. I used to have them. What else? I think that's about all the costs I can talk to you about. Of course, you know, health insurance is here. You know, that's really a national thing. I don't have to talk to you about that. If I miss something and you want the information, man, just put it in the comments below. Happy to talk to you about it. You can contact me, reach out to me, and I'm happy to get a response to you. If you want to give me your email, I'll make a video and send it to you. So that's about it. So if you can remember, we have snowbirds. We have old people's parents that live here. We do have older houses that you have to do maintenance on. It's not an upgrade to put a roof on your house. That's maintenance. Okay, so you put a $21,000 roof on your house, that doesn't make your house worth $21,000 more than your neighbor who has the exact same house. So there's upgrades and there's maintenance. We can talk about that. New construction, very, very nice. Lots to choose from here. Homes are built amazingly well, so we can help you with that. I highly recommend, if you're going to work with a builder, having a real estate agent with you. That's one of the things that we do. I know most of the builders here and the sales reps that work for the builder, the sales reps working for the builder to make them a lot of money, right? We're there to represent you and get you the best deal on the house, what incentives are being offered, and those types of things. So, hope you enjoy this. Just had to get it out there because it's been bothering me. So, I love Florida. I've lived here my whole entire life. Now, I did move out to Las Vegas for 6 years with Outback Steakhouse, but came back here because I missed it so much. And the way of life here, I'm sitting here in shorts and flip-flops, and you can go pretty much anywhere in the state of Florida, out to dinner, go to church, whatever you do, you can do it in shorts and flip-flops in Florida. You have, I think it's 340 days of sunshine here. It's not like this. So yeah, 340 days. We have a couple of months during the summer where it rains every single day. Now, for some reason, is it El Nino? Is that what it's called? We didn't have a lot of rain this summer. So we're very happy that we're getting this right now. So, yeah. Anything else you need to know about Florida, call me, email me, text me, whatever you'd like to do. I am full of absolutely worthless real estate information. I'm happy to give it to you at any time, okay? John Bice, eXp Real Estate, the Florida for Boomers Network. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and we put out information about relocating here to Florida a couple times a week, and we'd love to have you as one of our subscribers on our channel, okay? So, again, that's kind of the cost. That's the real story about moving to Florida and what it costs you. So, have a great day. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this rainy day that we're having. And I always call this just another kind of beautiful day that God gives us, a nice rainy day. So have an amazing day. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.